Well, I tell you what we normally do is have cars as the background for obvious reasons, but there are the odd exceptions, and what better exception to the rule than the wonderful setting of Stapleford Park in Leicestershire, sunny Leicestershire, where Citroën have decided to launch their new mid-size family hatchback, the Xsara, spelt Xsara. That's how it's spelt, but you say it Xsara. And the man to tell us all about it is Marc Raven.
It's got so many firsts within the car. It's the biggest in the class, it's the longest in the class, it's the widest in the class, and I think it'll probably drive the best in the class as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly my impression. Having driven the new Golf, not driven the new Astra yet, and of course the Escort doesn't even figure these days because that's as old as the hills, although they're saying there is going to be a new Escort coming next year. You say it's bigger, it's the most spacious car. That doesn't necessarily mean that the car on the outside is bigger. It still means you can get it in a rather small garage. It just means better utilisation of space within the driving and passenger cabin.
That's right. In fact, the car is actually longer anyway from the original ZX, but that TARDIS effect can be achieved. You can still make a car bigger on the inside without actually expanding it on the outside. I think that the car is designed to provide useful benefits to a user. Certain things, for instance, like the automatic windscreen washer, so that detects the moisture on the windscreen and will wipe at that point, so you don't have to worry about putting your wipers on. It'll get faster if it gets wetter.
That's right. And that's activated, that responds to the weather conditions. There's a sensor on the car, decides how wet it is and acts accordingly.
That's right, it's nothing more irritating than having to keep turning on and off the windscreen wipers. So that's just a nice little practical help. You've got things like the visible child lock indicator, so if the child locks are on, you know they're on by a little red sign that shows up quite clearly. So if you're a parent, you never have to worry about a kid opening the back door and falling out. A useful thing like stowing the rear parcel shelf, that can be put away neatly within the car. It's not something that you think, oh, I've loaded up the car, now what do I do with the parcel shelf? 3-part bumpers, so if part of the bumper gets damaged, you don't have to replace the whole bumper.
A lot of people relate to that because there's nothing more annoying than having a bit of damage. You've got to buy the whole new thing.
That's right, you get those sort of parking scrapes where somebody bangs it, and in fact, interesting side to that is that the door has got 3 separate locating notches, so when you open the car it locates on 3 different points, so you don't get the door swinging open, damaging your car and maybe the car that you've parked next to as well. But as far as the styling is concerned, I think that it's important to remember that you're producing a car that has mass appeal, and you can come up with some sort of space alien type of vehicle, but will anybody actually buy it? So what we've designed is a car that the people want. It looks good, it is stylish, but it's a classically modern car. It's not something that's going to look out of date within a year.
Well, if you're wondering why I'm looking so smug and so happy, it's because this is not a bad way to earn a living, actually. Sitting in a nice, reasonably priced car with a very, very nice interior. I've got to say, I mean, the French are stylish in many respects, but I'm telling you, when they want to be, the French can be about as tacky as you can get. And some French car interiors in the past are about, well, they're the epitome of tackiness, but not with this car. This is more Germanic, German/Japanese, although the quality is far better than anything you'll see out of Asia. This is a very nice, solid feeling car interior. We've got here a combination of black and grey, nothing too tacky, very nice grey dials against a black background. Too easy for car manufacturers these days to have those horrible white dials with black figures. Doesn't work. These are nice. And you do feel that you are in a car that's far bigger and far more expensive. I mean, look, I'm extending my arms just about as far as they can go, and I'm not even touching the door, just about touching the door. I've been in cars that are much, much larger, and of course much more expensive than this, and you don't get that much elbow room. The architecture, if you like, inside the car is very, very clever. You know, don't you, that when you're having a fitted kitchen done or something, it's not the size, the actual floor area of the kitchen that counts, it's what you do with that floor area and what you squeeze in and where you squeeze it in, and making the best possible use of limited space. And that's exactly what they've done here. And the architects and designers of this car, as that Pratt came round on the wrong side of the road over my side of the white line, the architects and designers of this car have been very, very efficient with the space and have done a great job.
11th £11,800, you're getting a brand new stylish car with all the state-of-the-art technology, safety as well. It employs all sorts of high-tech crash-resistant areas and airbags, and that's for £11,800.
And I can tell you that on this launch, I have driven precisely 1,200 miles in this car, and I think it's fair to say that I can vouch for its speed, its spaciousness, its drivability. And I'm not just saying it because he's here. I can honestly tell you, although I've got slight reservations about the styling, from a driving point of view, it's got to be just about the best car on the market. I think the Golf is giving it a very strong challenge. The new Golf, we don't know about the S3 yet. Forget about the Escort. Worry about that in a year or so's time when a new one comes along. For 12,000 quid, the best mid-sized family hatchback on the market just has to be, from the driver's point of view, the new Citroën Xsara, spelled X-S-A-R-A. Well, we've raised one or two question marks over the four-door version of the Xsara, but I don't think anybody could have any complaints whatsoever about this three-door coupe, which is coming in the spring of next year. Four-door will be on sale on November 1 this year. The three-door coupe, spring of '98. We don't quite know yet what it's going to sell for, what price it's going to be pitched at, but we do know that this VTS version will have a 2-litre 167 brake horsepower engine. That's an awful lot of grunt for a car of this size, and it's probably going to be one of the hottest coupes on the market come next spring stroke summer. If you're more interested in a warm coupe, there's the VTR version, 112 horsepower, but for the time being, this is the one to beat.